It's emerged that a teenage boy was orphaned when 3 members of his family died in yesterday's horrific accident on the M56. The 15-year-old boy survived with minor injuries, but his mother, father and 9-year-old brother all died when the minibus they were travelling in collided with the central reservation. 4 other people were also killed.
Granada reports coming up tonight. A fun-loving grandfather. Tributes are paid to the minibus driver in the M56 tragedy. Police say they're following up a number of lines of inquiry. A very good evening and welcome to the final Granada reports of the week. Tributes have been paid to the minibus driver from Greater Manchester who died in yesterday's horrific accident on the M56 motorway. 42-year-old Robert Taylor and 6 passengers were killed when his minibus crashed. Today it's also emerged that a teenage boy was orphaned by the crash. Staff from the emergency services are receiving help to cope with the shock caused by the terrible scenes they witnessed. More on that in a moment. First, though, the latest report from Michelle May.
A fun-loving husband, father, grandfather and friend. In a simple statement, Robert Taylor's family say everyone who knew him is absolutely devastated. Robert was driving 14 passengers to the airport when their minibus crashed. His wife, daughter and grandson say they're thinking of the relatives of the other 6 victims. 3 of them, one family. Martin and Denise McCoygleys and 9-year-old son Ryan were heading for Florida. Older son, 15-year-old Richard, survived and has been released from hospital. Named in their hometown of Ledbury in Herefordshire, where they ran a paper shop, Ryan's school friends today were being comforted by teachers.
The pupils were devastated. They are all very shocked. They're obviously very sad. It's a tragedy for all of us. We've talked to them and they've told us about him, and today they've gone home. They're still tearful, but they're beginning to think of the things that they're going to remember him for, taking home their special thoughts.
The line of flowers here on the bridge above the scene has been growing all day. Simple, heartfelt messages. These people never knew the victims but want to express the horror and sympathy we all feel at this tragedy. Named locally, 47-year-old Duncan Boniface from Fife lost his life. His wife Gillian is fighting for hers in Wythenshawe Hospital. The 41-year-old teacher has had surgery and is in a critical condition. Their 14-year-old daughter Amy is seriously ill. The other victims, 50-year-old Alice Barr from Belfast and a 43-year-old woman from Sunderland. Work to establish the cause of the accident continues. Police today analysing footage captured by roadside cameras. Witness statements are still being taken and the vehicles involved examined. Tonight, many are still struggling to cope with the enormity of the tragedy.
Sometimes in the course of your career you come across something that as a human being, as a normal member of the public, you're not used to dealing with. We train for incidents, but what we don't do is train to learn how to deal with some of the scenes that we come across, and yesterday was one of those incidents.
Another emergency being answered at Wythenshawe Fire Station. These crews are trained to deal with every conceivable scenario. Yet at the start of a shift, it's impossible to know what lies ahead. And sometimes no amount of training can be done in preparation. These were the firefighters first on the scene of yesterday's minibus crash. Among the debris they found, the bodies of passengers.
What happens sometime, you'll go away from the incident.
For circumstances like these, the service has what it calls critical incident debriefers. Specially trained staff, they're available to anyone who feels they may need the support.
What I found was ranging from one crew member with 2 months service in, right up to crew members with 20-odd years service in, each and every one of them looking equally devastated.
We now know the full name of the first emergency services worker on the scene. PC Paul Fazakali was on routine motorway patrol when the accident happened in front of him. He wasn't able to give us an interview, but in a statement he said it was only when he got home to his children he realised the full extent of what he'd seen.
Clearly police officers are experienced and they're trained to deal with incidents. Some incidents are so extraordinary, it's not surprising that they need to talk to somebody about it. Our job is to make sure that that doesn't have any lasting effects.
They are trained to, in a way, block out their emotions and deal with emergencies, but they're still human, and we expect them to be able to cope, and they, as professionals, think they should cope, so in a way they need more support.
There's grieving now among the victims' relatives and hope among those who tried to save them they can heal.